Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to my allotment here in sunny Nottingham. We're on June the 9th, it's a Sunday. It's been a beautiful day actually, but it has been really rainy the last few days, which, you know, that's great because everything's had a good water, but on the downside, the weeds love a bit of rain, so they'll all be shooting up. So I've got to keep on top of that. Yeah, I've had a good few inches in my butt as well, which is nice. My water butt has filled up a few inches with rain, so that is nice as well. And yeah, everything else is looking good. I've had a couple of disasters, but you know, such is the way. You can't always rely on nature to you know, play its part, because it has been cold. You know, we compare it to last year, there was sort of a heat wave right now. I think we're all complaining that it's too hot and it hasn't been raining and we're all going to die from, you know, drought. Whereas this year it's been kind of the polar opposite really. It's been cold, it's been wet, and I think we've got another week of it coming as well. So just have to take the rough with the smooth really, don't you? This is my plot back here. I'll go and take you and have a look round. Oh, if I slide back the door on my little brassica house experiment this year, you can see down here that my cabbages are all growing away. This one here on the left isn't really playing along. I can't exactly say why, but everything else is looking nice. There is a bit of a sign of slug damage on some of the leaves, so I can only assume that this sheeting and everything like that is allowing the little blighters to come up. You can see that some holes been chewed in there. Other than that, everything's looking alright. My Brussels sprouts over here are all coming on nicely. Again, some of the lower leaves, as you can see down there. Where's my zoom button? Zoom. There we go. They've had a bit of a nibble of something, but they're just the ones that are sitting on the ground, so hopefully not too big of a problem. I shall keep an eye on it though. The kale is not breaking any records, but you know, it is all still growing. It's looking healthy enough. And then down here, my broccoli, again, not looking huge. And then a couple of cauliflowers as well, probably looking the weakest out of the bunch really. But we shall keep an eye on them. They deserve a go, don't they? Ooh. Few little jobs to sort out. There we go, but that's closed. Good thing about the cages at the minute, I don't need to water it because obviously the scaffold netting that I've used lets all the rain through. No pigeons and white butterflies can get in there and lay the caterpillars on there, which is good. I mean, I'm struggling to get in there myself, as you can see, so hopefully they'll all come along quite nicely. If it doesn't work out too well, I'll probably flip it around, maybe use it as a fruit cage next year, but I do not know at this point. Right then, all of you gardening nutters, I've had a bit of a disaster with me courgettes, I'll be honest with you. What happened is I planted them out last week of May and it wasn't a frost, it was about 8 degrees at night time, something like that, a bit of a wind, and obviously the wind has got to the leaves, you know, killed them all right back. I'm hopeful that we'll get a bounce back on them. They're not looking too good at the minute, but just looking around on social media and that, I think a lot of people are having the same issue with the weather. Have a look, see what you think. The courgettes, unfortunately, as you can see, the leaves that were out just absolutely died off. It is throwing out more growth from the centre, I think, but it seems to just be a cluster of flower buds rather than any sort of leafy matter. So I've re-sowed a load more of these seeds in the greenhouse, hopefully it'll not be too long before I can put them out, because I think that thing is just throwing out flower buds because it's desperate to reproduce before the end, so it's probably not a good idea, you know, for that one. One of them did make it though, for some reason. This one didn't seem to suffer in the same way, so you know, he seems to be coming along alright. The yellow courgettes, absolutely annihilated, not by slugs or any other bugs, just purely the cold as far as I can see. And then the petit pan squash, looking a little bit yellow out there because it's not really got away. And then that's the other petit pan squash there, not sure what that is in the corner. Is it a hollyhock? It might be. These are called Black Magic, are they? Let's have a quick look at the tab. Yeah, these are Black Magic sunflowers. As you can see, they come out with quite a spotty centre in them. So I don't think these are going to be like record breakers height wise or anything, but oh, this one at the end, look at you. Alright, case of acne. But no, there you'll hopefully hashtag sunflower challenge. They'll all come out and they're quite a dark black or dark red flower, so hopefully they'll be nice and unusual. Which way should we go? Let's go this way, why not? What we got? The cosmos, that's just a few of those cosmos there. They do appear to be doing something. They've got a little flower head shooting out of the middle. Never grown them before, so we'll see what happens. Spuds. All the spuds are up, looking alright. So I've got 10 down that side, 10 down this side. And then this one at the end here. Now, this one at the end here, it's not blight or anything like that, certainly, but it's just looking a little bit pathetic when you compare it to the others. You know, nice luscious green growth. This one, a little bit yellow, a little bit black in places. So I'm just umming and ahhing whether to pull that one out if it is fungal or anything like that. I don't want it spreading to everything else. I've got a couple of self-seeded Ujma Watsits here. What are they? Fingermy-bobs, Dewberry Firkins, Fingermy Flops, Sunflowers, that's it. Oh my goodness, a weed. Oh no! Oh, 2 weeds. It's horsetail, lovely. So yeah, spuds. They're just doing their thing. They've only been up a few weeks, so they've still got plenty of time left to go. These are the lupins here, happily growing away. Absolutely beautiful, those sort of candy pink. Yeah, just really beautiful flowers. And as you can see, the flowers at the bottom have already been pollinated and gone to seed. And then as you work your way up, you can see that the new flowers are there. And then at the top of the plant, the ones yet to open. So they're absolutely beautiful. And then I've got these sort of dark blue, almost like violet sort of coloured ones down here as well, sort of slightly shorter ones, but they're putting on a beautiful show between them. The rest of the flower bed, not a heck of a lot happening in the way of colour, but everything's looking nice and healthy and growing away quite well. The little sweet peas are still in there, which is good. They've put on about 2-inch growth since the last video, so they're all heading in the right direction anyway, which is nice. The rest of the cosmos down here. This one is starting to bloom. You can see maybe the colour that one's going to be, sort of a dark pink colour, hopefully. Yes, we shall see. We shall see. So yeah, we're happy with that. The next disaster is the runner beans. The same night that the cold affected all of my courgettes, these got hit as well. You can see that the bottom leaves have all died back on these. Some of them have managed to do alright, other ones have been hit really hard, so again I've had to resow some of these. Still plenty of time though for those. So by the time that the other ones are ready to go out, any of these that aren't looking good or they're looking like they're struggling, I'll whip them out, swap them over. But yeah, like I said, still early days for those. It's a shame because I've seen other people on the plot and theirs are going right up. Never mind, a few marigolds here at the front. Hopefully give us a little display of colour at some point in the future. And then the, what are these? These are globe artichokes, people. Look at the globe artichokes. They're absolutely covered in aphids. But, yeah, the ladybirds are out in force as well, so, you know, they should keep on top of things. Not too bad this year. I've got a couple, 1, 2 on there. I've got 1, 2, 3 on here, flower heads. I don't bother eating these. I let them open because they're the most fantastic, beautiful flower that you'll ever see. Very exotic, big purple bloom. Again, absolutely loved by the pollinators. Back around behind me globe artichokes here, I've got all of the borage that's self-seeded from last year. Now this stuff, again, the flies do, but bees absolutely love it as well. So you can see now the flower heads are starting to come out, these clusters here. You get like a little delicate blue flower, and these flower pretty much all summer now. So they're absolutely perfect. You see you've got some mature ones there, and then some of the little seedlings that I've just been careful not to pull out while I've been doing my weeding. That's the comfrey there, still absolutely dripping with bees. I have had to tie it up. I don't know if you can see there's a big hollow in the middle there where it started to collapse. So I've had to sort of put string all the way around it to sort of keep it upright. Otherwise you get this sort of affair here. The old plant becomes too heavy for itself and it sort of flops out. So the bees are still absolutely loving it even after it collapses. So I shall give this another couple of days and I'll cut this one back. That one's fallen over, I'll cut that back. And that one over there is fallen, so I'll cut that back. And yeah, put them either in the compost or have a go at making that comfrey tea. But this massive one here I'm just going to leave for the bees. Apple trees here while we are here. This one hasn't flowered this year, the Discovery. I don't know if apples can be biennials, but it does appear that this one is, either that or the frost hit it early on. But it's looking healthy enough, but like I say, no fruit off of that one today, or even this year. And then we've got the cocks over here. This one has flowered, and it has also started to produce some fruit as well. So hopefully we'll get a few apples off here. Even if I only get half a dozen, that'll be a success in my book. Something about being down on the plot, plucking an apple straight into your mouth. You can't get any fresher than that, can you? Yum. Asparagus. Here, this is a bed full of asparagus. Now, I've started, because I'm not cutting this anymore, because I've got to leave it to replenish so that it can gather its strength for the next year. If you keep harvesting it, you're just going to weaken the plant, and it's not going to come back next year as well. So, just to, you know, hammer the point home. So, yeah, at the minute, these are all being left now. The ferns are all growing fairly tall. I mean, as you can see, here's one next to me now. I'm 6'2". That's probably about the same, actually. It might beat me by an inch or so, but what I am going to have to do anyway, back to the point, is I've got a couple of these that have flopped over in the wind. Now, what can happen as they're bending backwards and forwards in the wind, the actual crown that it's sitting on can become damaged. You can tear the roots, so it's a good idea to tie them back up. So these two, I'm going to have to tie them up, you know, stop them causing any damage to the roots. Right, I've got my garlic down here with a row of sunflowers in the middle, because when the garlic's gone, the sunflowers will still be there, and I can replant this whole bed with a few flowers and everything like that for later on. The garlic itself is looking like it's coming towards the end of things now. I've not had any of the scapes, well, I've had one scape come up on one plant, which, you know, I've taken off. That's like the little flower head. It comes up, curls over, snip that out, otherwise it draws all the goodness and energy out of your garlic bulb. So yeah, take that one out, and then the bulbs can stay in the ground to carry on fattening. However, what you will do is you'll come down here one day and you'll have gone from nice green plants like this to sort of slightly yellow, flopped over plants. That's when you get them out. And these are starting to look like they are very close now. I'll take you in for a closer look. So yeah, as you can see now, they've started to yellow off a little bit, and rather than straight little soldiers, you know, they've started to kink over a little bit. That just means, you know, while they're alive and actively growing, the sap and all the moisture is moving up and down the stalk. Once they start to slow down, you know, it'll dry out a bit, which means the stalk won't be able to suspend it, you know, hold itself, so it'll flop over. Anyway, that's boring. Yeah, so these are getting close to that anyway. I've got some of the ones at the back here, they're still looking really strong. But some of the smaller ones, as you can see, they're just, you know, they're starting to go. So I reckon another week or so on these garlic. I could get them out now, but I want to give them as long as I can. A little borage plant here that's decided to make a home for itself there, and who was I to say no? And again, same two down here at the front. And I've got a red kale in there. Hashtag Sunflower Challenge 2019. These, you know, are my best hope for it, I think, at the minute. So I've got the, what are these, Titans. So they are all going to grow about 87 metres tall, and they're going to have, you know, flower heads on them as big as the sun. So, you know, well, that's the plan anyway. I doubt it'll actually happen like that. Moving down to me shallots at the front here. Like I said, I've never grown a shallot before, and I've not actually done the research on them either. I keep meaning to actually find out when a shallot is ready, really, when you can actually say that's your shallot and dig them up. I don't know if you can see, but what you do is from that one, oh hang on, here we go, from that one shallot bulb that I planted, it split itself up into many different stalks, and each one of them will become a shallot. So that's how they actually multiply and grow. So these are looking still quite nice at the minute. The tips have started to yellow off a little bit, but I certainly don't think that they look big enough to harvest yet. You know, some of the bulbs that I got out were real 50p size, or that I planted, so I'm assuming that the ones that you harvest will be about the same size. But I don't know. Anybody got any help, advice, tips, hints, insults or anything like that, please let me know down below and say, hey Matt, your shallots need this, that, the other, or not, you know. And then the rest of the garlic around the back here as well, these were always going to be smaller plants because these were like the dregs, if you know what I mean. These are some of the ones, I should imagine some of them won't even get bulbs off. But you know, it's not about the results always, is it? Sometimes it's just about the process. And again, a couple of sunflowers that have self-seeded from last year. This one's looking quite nice actually. It's like a massive, look at that, get you out of the way mate, we're not looking at you. We will do in a second. But yeah, that's one sunflower, so I imagine that'll be quite a small bush one when it comes up. I can't actually imagine what it came from, whether it's a cross-pollination of everything else that I had. I don't really know. Right then, French beans. French beans have been, again, battered a little bit. You've got this one here, it's lost all of its leaves, so I don't know if anything will come out of that. The rest of them seem to have held in there all right. So yes, I'm just going to keep an eye on those. Like I say, I won't be surprised if I don't lose one or two of those. A couple more sunflowers here. These are the little Leo ones. They only get to about a foot tall. Got some, I want to say delphiniums, is that the right word? No, dahlias. A couple of dahlias, they were grown from seed this year. The ones that I have seen so far, excuse me while I zoom in, my fingers are blurry now, excuse that. Right, you see these, they're putting out the flower heads, but then the flower heads are dropping off before the flowers are opening. Any advice on a postcard on that one as well, please, would be greatly appreciated and recognised. And a couple more marigolds down here. Looking at the peas. The peas are doing their thing. They've started to flower. Some of the flower heads are even falling off as well, which means that the plants are getting pollinated. So we should start to have some peas on there to pick fairly soon. Whether I've got pea moth or not, we'll wait to be seen, because when you open up your little pea pod you get a little maggot come out at you like that. But it doesn't actually try and attack you like the little thing out of Alien, but you know, it's how it feels when you're about to put it into your mouth unsuspectingly. Couple of spring onions that have not really done much in the old tunnel, and then the carrots as well, which are looking carroty. I'm going to turn around so that I'm not casting a shadow. I don't know if you'll actually be able to see these through the net, but they're the carrots. You know, they're all looking alright, probably a little bit dense, but I'm going to leave them. So yeah, broad beans, I mean there is a few, one or two aphids on them, but certainly not the massive infestations that you'd see on something that would actually hold the plant back. So maybe putting them under a net for the first half of the growing season has actually allowed them to get so strong that they can withstand the attacks, I don't know. Or maybe there's just that many little what they called, butterfly, ladybugs, enough ladybugs to, you know, sort of keep them aside. Anyway, I digest. Let's have a look at the life of the broad bean. As you can see, here's the tip right now, nice and free from aphids and all the rest of it. You can see there's a little bit of damage from the old beetles on the edge of the leaves, but not too bad, and the flowers are looking really nice. And as you move your way down, you can see that the flowers have been pollinated and start to dry. And then down below, where are you? There you are, there's my little baby broad beans just starting to grow out now. They're going to be absolutely lovely. Didn't get great pollination on some of the lower ones where they were covered. Don't know if you can see there, but there's a stalk there with all the flowers didn't get pollinated on. But they're moving up, you know, we did get some. I'm not the world's biggest broad bean eater. I think that guy was about 7'3", but you know, I'll certainly get enough there for my needs, and these all look really healthy. I'm absolutely delighted with them. Ross, Broadus beaners. And here's a little bit of dirt. Oh, there's something growing in it. Yeah, the onions this year have been absolutely fantastic. I've been ever so happy with them. I mean, they're not bolting, they're looking absolutely beautiful. There's no sign of any sort of allium leaf miner or anything like that, although I don't really want to curse myself by saying it. And yeah, everything looks really nice. These were sets that I bought from Wilko's. And I've put them in and I've not really looked back really. They were absolutely fantastic. Yeah, they're growing away really well. You know, they must be up to sort of waist height, some of them. There's no sign of any bolting or anything like that yet. I say I had one or two of them that bolted last week, but nothing this week whatsoever. So hopefully the hopefully the rain has sorted them out a little bit, and you know, keep them well weeded and everything like that. Make sure they've got no competition, and everything should be fine. I think some of them are bulking up quite nicely actually. Some of the reds are looking particularly nice. I've never grown a decent red onion in my life, but yeah, these are looking really promising. You know, some of the white onions as well, looking really healthy, really strong. So yes, very pleased with those. Looking down into this little bay here, I've got my 2 little lines of parsnips that have come up great. I'm absolutely delighted with that. Just going to absolutely leave them to do their own thing now until, you know, autumn. They get harvested after the first frost because that sweetens them up a bit. Until then, just keep them weed free, you know, keep them nice, keep them healthy, keep talking to them, make sure they don't get bored. And then my leeks that I put out last week as well, absolutely fine, you know, no wilting or dropping or dying or anything like that. You know, they're just doing their thing. They're sitting there, you know, in a kind of leek-like manner. Leeks. I didn't want to show you this one because it's full of weeds as well, mare's tail. But my little strawberries, my little alpine strawberries, some of those are... no, I can't even do it. I just can't physically. Get out. Get out of my bed. You're not welcome, you're not wanted. You've been here since prehistoric times, it's time for you to leave. Blooming mare's tail. So anyway, back towards my alpine strawberries now. You can see they've started to put on a lot of beautiful growth, and there's plenty of fruits coming out on those now. Very small these are compared to another type of strawberries that you might see in the shops. Probably not viable for commercial growing, but I tell you what, when you put one of these in your mouth, it's like your mouth's exploded with flavour and sweetness, so that is a good thing. Raspberries never really had much joy growing these, so we shall see this year. I've got plenty of fruits ripening up, and Barry the bee there, he's doing his thing as well, keeping his side of the deal, so we shall see if we get any raspberries. That's the second raspberry I've blown today. That one was actually appropriate though. Just noticed. Look at that, what's that doing in there? That is a broad bean. That must have, I reckon what I've done there, because there's my shed, I reckon I'll probably drop one in the shed or chuck one out of the shed or something like that, and it's grown itself there. What was originally my overflow brassica bed has actually turned into maybe one of my more promising overflow brassica beds. No, because I've only got the one. What was originally my overflow brassica bed has probably turned into my most promising brassica bed at the minute, because the one up at the top end, where are you? There you are, ta-ting, has, you know, the jury's out on it anyway, but these ones are growing away beautiful. Let's have a look. So, you know, I don't know if you can even see through there. If I get any closer, I'll probably just focus on the mesh, will it? That will show you the sort of fineness of the mesh that you need to keep the caterpillars and that out. But anyway, yeah, I've got some Brussels sprouts in there, and then my cabbages. These were the plants that I was going to get rid of, but I thought, nah, you know what, I'm going to chuck them in the bed and see what happens. And this is what's happened. What's this stuff here? This stuff here is sweet corn. This is it Incredible F1, this one? I believe so. So yeah, I put these out, really small little plants, and they're not growing amazingly quickly or amazingly well, but again, I don't want to keep, you know, repeating the same thing about the weather, but it's the weather's fault. It's not my fault, it's the weather's fault. Yeah, so these are all hopefully growing away quite happily, and we'll get a decent harvest off of these. They've certainly got plenty of space to grow away, and yeah, fingers crossed on that. There is my other type over there. I bought Kitchen Garden magazine, and on there I think it was Golden Bantam, is it? So I put 6 Golden Bantam out there as well, so hopefully they will do the same, and I won't have any issues of cross-pollination, or, you know, the 2 different types sort of getting into a scrap in the middle of the night or something like that, I don't know. Oh, I'm just going to poke my head in here. Oh, sorry guys, I know you all in here busy growing away, but I've just come to have a look at you. This is kohlrabi. So first time grower of kohlrabi. As you can see, I've put it under a net again for the same reason, pigeons and, you know, mosquitoes and didgeridoos and albatrosses and, you know, all the rest of it. But yeah, they all seem to be coming on quite nicely. What will happen is the base of the stem, around about where I'm going to focus now, ta-da, will start to fatten up, and then that will turn into a nice big round bulb, and then you can apparently eat it, which is what this is all about. Yeah, go back about your business now. And there we go, that's it. That's just a quick visit again this week. I've just been down, done the weeding, done like, you know, all the bits and bobs that need doing this week. I have started to trim my hedges back here, which is all a bit boring, I know. But, you know, when you've got like 30 metres across that edge, and then I've got 30 metres across that top edge, both sides, turns into a pretty big job. So I have bought myself a petrol strimmer. Not had a chance to get it out yet, and I do want to wait as long as I can before the little nesting tweety sparrows and dicky birds and all of that can move on. So I think officially that's the end of July. I don't know if I can wait that long just because the place is looking seriously messy and I have an obligation to keep my pathways clear. So I'll probably have that out in the week. I'll have a bit of a rummage around in the hedges first, see if I can spot any issues. But I digress. That is it for today. Thank you very much once again for joining me. It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much, and yeah, subscribe if you want to see some more updates, and hit the like button if you like it, hit the lights down if you don't like it, but try and tell me why you don't like it. Yeah, and you know, job's a fish. Excellent.